Whispers of the Northern Wind. In the quiet coastal town of Andale, nestled between snowy cliffs and the ever-turning sea, lived a young woman named Alara. She was a painter, known in the town not for fame or fortune, but for the way her brush captured the loneliness of winter and the warmth of remembered summers. Every morning, she would sit on the wooden balcony of her small cottage with a cup of steaming tea, wrapped in an old woolen shawl, watching the sea as it whispered secrets to the wind. One morning in early November, a stranger arrived. He wore a thick navy coat, carried a leather-bound journal, and had the kind of face that looked like it had weathered many storms, sharp, kind, and weary all at once. His name was Kalen. He had come from the city, they said, taking leave from his job as a writer for reasons he kept quiet. Alara first met him at the town's only cafe. He was sitting by the window, scribbling fiercely into his journal, a cup of untouched coffee beside him. She couldn't help but notice the intensity in his eyes, the way he looked out at the sea as if searching for something lost. Days turned into weeks. They kept running into each other, in the market, at the cliffs, during the silent walks along the frozen beach. Slowly, their conversations grew from polite nods to quiet chats, and then to deep, lingering talks about life, art, memory, and loss. Alara learned that Kalen had once been engaged to a woman who had passed away in a tragic accident the year before. He had come to Andale to escape the noise of grief. To write, yes, but also to forget. "I lost my words for a long time," he told her one night as they walked beneath the northern lights, a rare gift in their part of the world. "Until I met you. You made the silence feel like music again." She didn't know how to respond. Her heart, so carefully guarded for years, stirred with something she thought she'd buried. She too had known loss. Her brother, her closest companion, had died at sea 5 years ago. Since then, she had painted only in shades of blue and gray. They began to spend every day together, mornings at the cafe, afternoons in her studio, evenings by the fire with books and music. He would write while she painted. Sometimes they would fall asleep on the couch, the crackling fireplace casting dancing shadows across their peaceful faces. One evening, as snow began to fall gently over Andale, Kalen gave her a small box. Inside was a simple silver locket with a tiny note folded inside. "For the one who taught me how to feel again." Tears welled in Alara's eyes. She looked up at him, unable to speak. "I'm not asking for forever," he said gently. "Just one day at a time. Together." And so they stayed, in the cottage by the sea, where grief softened into memory, and love grew like spring buds beneath the snow. Their lives became a quiet symphony of shared moments, whispered promises, and the healing power of art and time. Years later, when strangers came to visit the coastal town, they would see a painting in the local gallery. A canvas filled with the light of dawn breaking over the waves. And beside it, a book of poems titled Whispers of the Northern Wind, written by a man who once lost everything, and found love in the quiet eyes of a painter who saw the world in colors no one else could. Where the river bends. In the small town of Willow Creek, where the river flowed gently and the willows swayed with secrets of time, lived a young woman named Clara Bell. She was a schoolteacher with a soft voice and a quiet heart, known for the way she tucked wildflowers into her books and smiled at the rain. Life in Willow Creek was peaceful, predictable, and perhaps a little too quiet. Everything changed the summer Ethan Blake returned. Ethan had grown up in Willow Creek, but after high school, he left for the city, chasing dreams in architecture and skyscrapers. 10 years later, he came back, older, quieter, and carrying the weight of things he never spoke about. He had taken a job restoring the town's old covered bridge, the one Clara used to cross every morning as a child. They met again at the Sunday market. Clara was picking peaches, Ethan was measuring the beams of the nearby bridge. He looked up, and their eyes met. Not with the excitement of strangers, but with the gentle recognition of two souls who once knew each other and had silently hoped to meet again. "Clara Bell," he said, smiling like he remembered the way she used to wear sunflowers in her hair. "Ethan Blake," she answered, feeling something shift inside her chest. From that day forward, their paths began to intertwine. He would bring her coffee in the mornings. She would bring him books about old bridges and poems tucked between the pages. They talked about life, about regrets, about the stars above the river. Every conversation felt like a step toward something unspoken. But Ethan held a secret. He had come back to Willow Creek not just for the bridge, but because he had lost someone in the city. A fiancé. A future. Grief had wrapped itself around his ribs like iron, and he had come back to heal, not to love again. Clara, too, had wounds. A father who left. A heart that once loved someone who never stayed. But with Ethan, she began to feel the warmth of something new blooming, not fast and fiery, but slow, like spring rising from beneath winter. One rainy afternoon, while standing under the half-finished bridge, Clara asked, "Why did you really come back, Ethan?" He hesitated. "Because I forgot what home felt like. And I thought maybe I could find it again, here." Their fingers brushed. He didn't pull away. That night, he walked her home. He didn't kiss her, not yet. But he held her hand, and that meant more. Over the weeks, the bridge neared completion. So did their hearts. What had been broken slowly found ways to be whole again. With every laugh, every shared story, the weight on Ethan's chest lessened. Clara's walls began to fall. Then came the fall festival. Under lanterns and music, Ethan asked her to dance. As they moved slowly on the grass, he whispered, "I don't know what the future holds, Clara. But I wanted to include you." She looked into his eyes. Those steady, storm-worn eyes, and said, "Then let's begin where the river bends."